Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask Yann. So this time Yelena asked me a question. She wanted to know what you should study to be employable today. And I have to say it's a really tough question because there's so many different layers, right? And I even had to prepare and take a few notes this time because this is a lot more complex than the regular questions you guys ask me. So for Yelena and everybody else out there, I think you're asking this question because maybe you have had an experience like you're struggling to find a job, you're afraid of losing your job, you have friends that lost their jobs that are struggling to find a new job. So it's a really complex question. So I guess the reason behind it is that right now, like nothing is safe anymore. Like everybody could lose his job, like from today to tomorrow, like your job could be gone, right? So, and I think the first like subset of question that your question, like what should you study to be employable, includes is, do you actually still need to study today to succeed or to be employable or to be an entrepreneur or whatever? And I think this really depends. It depends on the kind of person you are. I think the basic rule is always how much of a risk taker you are. Like if you're saying like the bigger risk you take, the bigger the potential outcome, right? So the smaller risk you take, smaller will be the outcome. So what this means when it comes to universities and studying, I think you have to look at it from the current perspective that we live in today. We live in a time where it's sort of a transition, right? So we're still stuck in the old days where a lot of people that are recruiting you look at your CV, they want like a brilliant CV, they don't want any gaps within your CV. But on the other hand, we have people that succeed that drop out of college. So it's really what you want to bet on. Do you want to bet on the past or the future? But at the same time, I'm not saying that you should study or you should not study. It really depends on what you want to do yourself and what kind of person you are, because you gotta be aware of, right now we're in a transition phase. So nothing is really safe, but still like most of the people that will hire you are the people that live in the past. So do you want to go all in and not study? Or do you want to go the safe path and study and at the same time do other things, right? So it really depends on yourself, and I can't make this decision for you. So the first subset of this question, do you need to study? I think it depends on you. It depends on what risk you want to take. Do you think that maybe when you hit like the job market, like there will be no jobs at all anymore, so you actually don't need to study? Or yeah, it's basically that boils down to how much of a risk taker you are. And the second part of the question, I think, is what should you actually study? And I think it doesn't matter at all anymore what you're going to study. You could study history, psychology, physics, business. It does not make any difference, because the only thing that a graduate degree or a degree or is just like what it does is a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper that shows people that want to employ you that you're not a risky investment, that you're willing to do what people tell you should do, because that's what university is basically all about. You learn stuff that someone tells you should learn by heart, and then you write it down on a piece of paper. The second thing is that everything that you learn or that your degree will help you is to decrease risk, and at the same time also increase trust. Because if I see, oh wait a minute, I don't know you, right? And then you show me a piece of paper which shows that you've been tested in 20, 40, 50 different subjects. So I know that you're willing to do the task at a certain deadline. So that's basically what a degree will help you in life with. It's just a piece of paper to increase trust and to decrease risk. So for me, it doesn't matter what you study. Now we come to the interesting part, like the third subset of your question that you initially asked is, what skills do you need? I think the skills that you need today to survive are none of the skills you will learn at university or college. Because where you need to be able to survive these days is, in my point of view, because in my point of view, in the not so far away future, there won't be a lot of big corporations left anymore. So instead of being very specialized, you'll have to, an expert, you'll have to become a generalist, because most of the big companies will die out. And what you're gonna have is like a lot of small companies, but most of the small companies can't hire experts, so they need generalists. So the skills that you need, in my point of view, in the 21st century are sales, knowing how to sell a product. And it starts already with copywriting, sending email newsletters. That's, to me, it's advertising and sales. It's like a mix. You gotta be able to tell stories. You gotta be able to present your ideas in front of, be it online, offline, or in front of a large audience. Because that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. You need to be able to convince potential customers or investors that you're worthwhile their money and also time. So, and not only sales, but also advertising, of course, social media. Like, how do you make a Facebook campaign? How do you grow an audience on Facebook? How do you use Twitter? How do you use Pinterest? How do you use all these different channels to promote a potential product? Because what it boils down to at the end of the day is that you'll have to be able to do everything. I'm not gonna say that you have to be an entrepreneur, but if someone hires you, like a small company, like a startup, you'll have to be able to do all of them. You have to be like, I like to call it full stack employee. That's the future. So a full stack employee knows a bit of everything. A full stack employee knows how to make marketing, knows how to make advertisement, knows how to speak in public, knows a little bit of programming. I don't think like you necessarily have to know programming, but any other skill that will help you to create a product. For example, what I do is I write. And why do I write? Because it's the only skill that I have, and everybody else out there has it. Or just talking. Those are the two skills that I have. I know, as a human being, I know how to write and read, and I know how to talk. So if you don't want to learn how to program, I really advise everybody else out there to really start working on being able to produce a product, whatever that product is. In my case, because I'm really stupid, I don't know anything, it's writing and speaking. And try to create products out of this, or the skills that you have. If you know a little bit of programming, try to also start experimenting with this. The skills that you will need at the end of the day is really to be able to, or at least in my point of view, is create a product and do all the different steps involved in it. And also the selling, not only the selling, but also especially the production part. And these days it's so simple to sell products. You can make a simple WordPress blog, which I really encourage everybody to understand how to make WordPress blogs. Like right now, a WordPress websites, right now I have maybe 10 sites running on WordPress. Like you launch a WordPress website, you sign up to an affiliate program. An affiliate program is basically a program from Amazon, Zappos, Zalando, where you can use their pictures and their products and put it on a website. So what's gonna happen is, I go on your website on WordPress, I click on the link, I'll be directed to Amazon or Zappos, and whenever I buy a product, you'll get a commission of 6%. That's pretty brilliant, right? Because you have no risk whatsoever. You don't need to source any products, you don't need to invest any money. All you have to do is you pull a simple WordPress website, you send traffic to it, and then you start monitoring the metrics. Because like there's nothing worse than like buying, for example, that happened to me, my first company. I had a clothing company. We bought like, not that much, but for a few €1,000 we bought stock. But at the end of the day, no one bought because we didn't know the metrics. Because what you're gonna know or understand is that for maybe 1,000 people that visit your website, 1 or 2 people might end up buying. So it's really about trying to understand how this entire process works. So a long story short is, the skills that you need today, in my point of view, is to be able to, or at least run through the entire value chain of building and selling a product to a real end customer from A to Z. So to sum it all up, the question you asked, Yelena, was, what should you study today to be employable? So first of all, do you need to study? I think it depends on you. It depends on, because we live in a transition phase, right? Do you think that when you graduate or when you go into to start working, will there still be corporations or no? So it really depends on you if you should still study. I can't really tell you. So what should you study? It doesn't matter at all. What matters is the skills that you're able to build on the side. And so what skills do you finally need? The skills you need are being able and having run through the entire value chain of building a product. Be it you build it yourself, you source it somewhere else, you make an affiliate website, and then you sell it to your customers. So those are the skills you need. So pretty much, and to me, that's like the perfect profile of a CEO. You run through the entire value chain of building a product, and you know exactly what steps are involved. And I guess if you know this, and if you do this while you're still studying, you'll be way ahead of your competition. So that's it for today, folks. That was the episode on what should you study today if you want to be employable. Should you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me or send me a message to yann@girard.net. Or if you follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, just shoot me a message there, and you might make it to the show. All right, folks. See you next time.